Thanks, Dan. Appreciate your time and always the continued support. It's been a great partnership working with AGZA and just your personal friendship over the many, many years as we've been trying to kind of be leaders in this space and early adopters and trying to bring it forward. So I appreciate your time and effort and what you guys do.
Likewise, Richard. Thank you.
So thank you everybody for your time. I know everyone's busy day comes and we're kind of near the end of that day, but I just want to share with you some of the things that we're doing at TOWA. Again, to give you a little bit of idea of what's out there. Just a little bit about my background. I'm the president and CEO of Gardline Power Equipment. So I do own an outdoor power equipment dealership. So I do understand the challenges and things facing the dealerships at the battery level when we're going to conversion. Which also led me to co-found TOWA in a few years ago to address the big gap that we saw in this market. Just a little bit on my background. I grew up in the landscaping business. My dad was a landscaper, so I knew all the challenges he faced as a landscaper. And eventually my dad started his own outdoor power equipment dealership. So I have some background in working in the shop and understanding all the challenges that these outdoor power equipment dealerships have. And then I went into my career after I graduated and swore I'd never get back into this business. And I basically had a career, my first half of my career was really in retail buying and in product development. So I've got a lot of manufacturing kind of experience as well. In 2010, I started like a marketing group for specifically targeted towards manufacturers and how to build omni-channel solutions for the companies. In 2014, ended up purchasing Gardline Power Equipment, which I'm currently the CEO of. And then in 2020, we started TOWA Industries, again, like I said, to fill this technology gap that we saw and the need that we saw for charging. So in total, I have about 40 years of experience, not only in the landscaping, but in the manufacturing and also the OP dealership side. So I think I bring a very unique perspective that I see perspectives in all these different areas. So we get this question asked a lot. So it's like, hey, how did TOWA and Gardline come to be? You guys are an outdoor power equipment dealership, and what are you doing manufacturing product? Again, it was because of our goal. Our goal was, and our commitment was to our core customer, and that is the commercial landscaper. And with that focus in mind, there were some major gaps that we experienced in this transition from gas to battery that we felt weren't met in the marketplace, so we decided to fill those gaps with TOWA. Literally like 3 or 4 years ago, no one was talking about charging infrastructure, the challenges of charging. Everyone was just talking about battery platforms and trying to sell a battery solution, but no one addressed how is it that you actually get it done. So a little background and a little history again. In 1960, Gardline was established by Ray Matsumoto, who was a pioneer kind of in the landscaping industry as well as an OP dealership. I took over in 2014, and at the time, 55% of our business was DIY, and 45% of our business was in commercial. In 2017, we had our clients that service, high-tech companies like Google, and they told us, hey, we want zero gas products on our campus. So you can imagine going back into history in 2017, there really wasn't really good commercial grade products out there. So at the time then, our mix was 25% DIY, and we did a pivot in our business and said, we are now going to focus 100% of what we do towards our commercial customer. And in 2017, we changed it to where now we're 75% in the commercial market, and 5% of that now was in battery. In 2020, we launched TOWA and our first distribution management system. Again, so we're looking at over 4+ years of just true experience in our power distribution manager product. So we've got a lot of learning, a lot of background, and a lot of experience in what we've learned through that time in helping companies transition. Today, into 2020, we're now 10% DIY, 90% commercial, and doing about 13-14% of our business was in battery. In 2023, we really blew up with battery. We became the largest battery deal in the US. And then 2024, TOWA really kind of got to full-scale production, and we started helping our top 100 landscaping tech companies in many cities and municipalities with their transition into battery by using our TOWA solutions. Some of the key, learnings that we found over the kind of 12 years of selling zero emission equipment, really a lot of the early adopters that we've seen was driven by these tech companies for us, right? Or environmentally conscious schools and universities, cities that were pushing this effort more than 10 plus years ago. Going to battery meant you had to change your current workflow. Thinking of charging your batteries versus kind of having to fill up with gas. It was a very different workflow process that we had to educate and learn. The lack of charging infrastructure and the accessibility to portability of power, especially for offsite locations, was another big area. Runtime versus use time. There was this big controversy over people saying, I need at least 8 hours of runtime, or I need at least 2 hours of runtime. And with battery stuff, it's really about use time or trigger time. It's actually when the time that the tool is actually being used, right, on the job. So there's a lot of education that had to go around runtime and what's the difference between runtime and trigger time. Very similar to what you see on range anxiety with a Z when you're looking at cars. A lot of people, the first thing that they're concerned about is, does it have enough mileage, right? Very similar to the runtime argument that we've seen in outdoor power equipment. The other mindset that was very challenged was the all or nothing mindset. Landscapers said, this will never replace my gas tool. Like, there's no way in heck I'm going to transition unless I'm forced to do it. The reality of it is it really just needs to be another tool in your toolbox, right? This isn't an all or nothing approach. This is just a way to add tools in your toolbox to help you expand your offering to your customers. And if you're a company that's focused on servicing tech companies or HOAs, or apartment places where homeowners are demanding quieter tools, more environmental friendly solutions, you have this tool in your toolbox to allow you to do that. In terms of industry challenges, obviously 2024 has put a lot of industry challenges on all three of our vertical segments: our manufacturers, our dealers, and our landscapers, because now we're forced to do it. With forced legislation, it's really put some challenges in all three of these verticals. In manufacturing, it's about the platform game today, right? It's a win at all cost mentality. We see a lot of manufacturers basically throwing the farm at landscapers, at customers to try to win the platform, which may not be the best thing because you may not get the best tools in front of the right people for the right uses, right? You have a gas versus battery focus, right? Like, you have to understand that you're either going to do gas or you're going to do battery. And where you see manufacturers, some of them pulling out of California because they just don't want to deal with the battery platform, right? So you have this constant push-pull deal going on with these traditional gas manufacturers. And at the same time, you have tool guys who are 100% in tools, never in the gas side, who are now entering into the market because they're 100% battery focused, right? And then the big question now becomes, do dealerships matter, right? If batteries become simpler and easier to operate, less labor, we see manufacturers making decisions about whether or not they disintermediate the dealer and just go direct, right? We still strongly believe the strongest manufacturer is going to win is the one that has the best support network for their customers. Dealer challenges, right? Dealers are being pinched on both sides. We have to find a way to replace lost revenue streams and find more ways to be profitable, right? Batteries are lower margin in general, right? And now we're forced to make a change with the legislation. Our options today are adapt or die. Really, there is no other option as a dealer, right? And then on the landscaper side, the cost. How is anyone helping us with this high cost of adoption, right? This isn't something that we want to do. We're being forced to do this, right? So our choices are we either ignore it, we embrace it, get out, or leave California. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on the different vertical challenges, but I really want to focus in on the landscapers. So I'll briefly kind of go some of the things that we have seen as a dealership on the manufacturing side. We are seeing definitely fewer equipment manufacturers that are selling products into California. We have seen limited product assortments. that are coming down from manufacturers, and these will be the only carb specific models that you can buy in California. Another perfect example is Honda, who absolutely just pulled out of the market and left a huge gap of products and ability for dealers to sell their products because they just decided to pull out of the market, right? Manufacturers are challenged to meet this California specific requirement. There are much fewer servicing dealers now in the area. And then manufacturers still need alternative distribution channels other than big box in order to remain profitable, right? And dealerships are now and there are many dealerships that are resistant to change. On the dealership side, dealership margins continue to decrease, right? When we looked at our business and we looked at every $1 million of revenue that we were generating in battery, we were losing about $150,000 in profit. And that lost revenue was coming from our part sales and from our labor and service sales. So dealers have got to figure a way, how do we replace these lost revenue streams in ways to be more profitable? The transition period between legislation mandates and enforcement leaves a gap, right? We know that the 2024 CARB legislation with AB 1346, it says nothing after 2024 that's manufactured, you can't buy it, but that leaves a gap that you can still use gas equipment until 2027. What that's done is left this gap on what do we do? Do we sell gas? Do we support battery? Right? And what that's creating is this further separation of dealerships trying to challenge on which way they go, right? There's still a lot of lack of training and a lot of resistance to change in the dealership. Selling battery requires a new workflow and operational training. You're going to see continued consolidation of these dealerships who decide not to adapt. And then there's still the major charging infrastructure challenges that dealers will face to be able to service all this battery equipment, to charge all the batteries for their customers in order to supply a full turnkey solution for the customers. And to focus on now specifically on the landscaper side, right, let's talk about the high cost of transition, right? Battery transitioning from a gas tool to a battery tool can be anywhere from 2 to 5 times more expensive, right? Landscapers are forced to make a brand platform decision. Where gas used to be brand agnostic, you got to buy the best blower that you felt did the job. You can buy the best hedge trimmer that you thought could do the job. Now you're kind of forced to make a brand choice about what platform is going to be the best, and you're kind of stuck with that platform, right? So that is another challenge that we see kind of being imposed on our landscapers. What we think many smaller landscaper companies will not be able to afford this transition. We'll likely see more consolidation of these smaller companies due to the high capital investment that they'll need to do. And then again, the whole charging infrastructure that we talked about. Many landscapers that we deal with don't have their own properties or either renting. You have commercial guys that lease their properties, and for them to invest in having to upgrade their power to be able to charge is cost prohibitive, right? And even when they go to customers' homes and customers say, hey, you can use my place to charge. Well, the last thing you want to do at your customer's place is blow out their circuits. So when we look at what are the challenges specifically in battery adoption, we have 3 major areas. One is the high cost of converting, right? Transitioning from gas to battery requires high upfront cost to purchase these new battery products. The second part is charging. Charging at scale typically is very, very expensive and requires significant upgrades to your on-site facility, as well as the ability to have mobile power solutions, which is our third point where portability of power becomes challenging. So if you look at just your typical trailer needs, right? And again, this is from California from our perspective. You typically see 2 backpack blowers, a string trimmer, 1 stick edger, 1 extended hedge trimmer, maybe a standard hedge trimmer, and a smaller footprint lawnmower, right? And others may add a ZTR into the mix. But if we just look at the handheld side of the business, you're potentially looking at 16 to 20 batteries and potentially 16 to 20 chargers, right? So that's a significant amount to charge. So when you look at that and you look at your 20 amp circuit, you know, and these typical chargers could run anywhere from 2 to 4. In some cases, these chargers run to 8 amps to 10 amps. That means if you have a 20 amp circuit or worse, a 15 amp circuit, the most you're going to be able to pull out of one circuit is going to be 80%. So for a 20 amp circuit, the most you can pull out is 16 amps. And for a 15 amp, the most you can pull is roughly 12. So if that's the case, and you've got chargers that are pulling 8 amps, you only can have one charger per outlet, right? Think of the cost factor that involves. If you have a 4 amp charger, the most you possibly could do is 3 at a time, right? And the challenge then becomes is how can we scale? How can we continue to increase circuits to scale and charge all these things? And we had an electrician to give us a rough estimate of what it would cost to put in a dedicated 20 amp circuit. It was roughly anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. We'll multiply that now by 5, 10, and you can see how that can significantly increase when you can only charge one battery per outlet. It becomes very significant. So what TOWA has really tried to do is help you maximize the efficiency out of your current infrastructure, right? Helping you with this transition from gas to battery. With our TOWA system, we will manage your 120 amp circuit or 15 amp circuit and never let you blow that circuit. But by using our TOWA Power Distribution Manager, which will actively manage your circuit and always give you the available headroom available in your circuit. To give you a perfect example, so let's say you've got 4 chargers on your PDM, you can stack it. It's a modular system, so you can add more units as you need more power. That's the beauty of our system. It starts at 4 and you ramp it up as you need it, right? So it's a very easy way to go. It's simple plug and play. Just plug it in and we will manage that one circuit for you. So we can have 3 chargers going. Let's say they're all running at 4 amps each. Now we've got basically 12 amps or 12 amps running. What happens with these batteries is that when they get to 80%, and this will be more and more relevant down the road, when it gets to like 80%, that last 20% of trickle charging, you may see your charger drop down to 2 amps, right? Or in a case that you have all 4 chargers running at 4 amps, they're now running at 2. You're only using 8 amps of power out of your circuit. That 8 amp, the headroom that you have in that amp is being unutilized, right? Most of the competitive products that you see on the market today are a simple sequential charging system, right? Our PDM technology actively scans a circuit and every 30 seconds, and we will allow you that open headroom in your circuit, and we will automatically turn and switch on and off available circuits to you in real time, right? And that adds a credible amount of efficiency in our system, right? These other systems that are out there that have a 4-bank system or a 6-bank system, all of those are doing is taking your circuit and splitting them between those batteries, right? In any case that you do, let's say you did upgrade your system and you upgraded with new circuit panels, the TOWA PDM will still help you in all those situations. It's a brand agnostic solution. So if you have batteries and chargers from steel that you like, we allow you to use it. If you have a Husqvarna system that you like, you can use that, right? Our product also has a 240 version. So when you get up to higher capacity ZTRs, we have the same technology system for 240. We have the same stack system for European 240 and 250. So it's a very simple product to use. It's simple as plug and play. And the typical ratio that you will see is 5 or 6 to 1, meaning for every 5 or 6 circuits that you will need, you only need 1 TOWA PDM to manage that with one 20 amp circuit. And then the next thing is how do we expand further, right? So that's where TOWA came out with their VPS system, the battery powered system. And what this does is give you now portable power that allows you to put on your trailers, or they're modular that you can roll them on your job site where you have portable power that you can take with you on the job. This allows you for a full turnkey solution in your trailer. It's extremely small footprint, but the whole piece of it is modular. You can start with 3,000 watts and just continually add 2,500 watt expansion packs based on the needs of your trailer, right? Or based on the needs of your customers. And what this allows you to do, let's go to the next slide here. You're going to see on this in the pictures here how small our footprint is, right? It doesn't take up all this room in your trailer. All of these are very easy to move. It's simple, one plug in your trailer, and this trailer will then charge everything in your trailer, in addition to charging your backup battery systems that give you portable power throughout the day. So in summary, we see today that the zero emission equipment is now starting to achieve gas-like performance, right? Equipment durability and sufficient runtimes are now here, right? That's been a dramatic technology improvement in the battery world. We believe that the adoption of battery and cordless products will expand much faster in the commercial market than people expect. I know a lot of people are saying it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. But as soon as you are getting the gas-like performance, you are now getting the runtimes of gas. As soon as the people in your company that look at the financials will see that the ROI, the return on investment from converting from gas to battery, is within a 12 to 16 month or 12 to 14 month window, companies will convert. The question is, how will they do it, right? And I think that the other thing that we're going to see here is that people will follow California. We are seeing those trends now, right? The question that becomes, all right, it's there. I understand it. We are going to change. Now, how do we do it, right? The lack of charging infrastructure will continually be that problem. And our goal at TOWA is to help facilitate doing that in a very cost-effective and scalable way. We also feel like there'll be continued consolidation, not only in the manufacturing side, but also on the retailer side, right? Especially during this transition. Again, we need to have a better understanding and a better understanding of how do we have recycling programs and repurposing programs. And then really what we have to teach and educate our people, the understanding of the financial impact, right, of batteries, its benefits and its ROI, but at the same time understanding the financial impacts of storing, handling, and the transportation of these dangerous, hazardous types of materials. These will have impacts on insurance rates. These will have impact on DOT regulations on your trailers. Those are things that we as manufacturers or we as customers need to be asking our manufacturer partners, are we doing that, right? And it's even more important for organizations like AGZA, right, who go through this stringent training and certification process to vet out these manufacturers to make sure they're not shortcutting a lot of these issues and make sure that they're addressing them and that we partner with the right manufacturers that are committed to helping us with a very successful and safe transition to the battery. And then the further need is to further education and build more awareness of the transition from gas to battery. One of those efforts that we're doing is Gardenland has launched their Zero E Expo. We just had our 3rd annual event, and I'd like to show you a little highlight video of that for you right now. This was our 3rd annual Zero E Expo. This year we had over 600 attendees. We had 20 plus vendors that were committed to the battery platform. And we will be hosting this event again in April of 2025. All right, that's all I had. And at this time, I just wanted to open up for any questions that you might have.
Yeah, Richard, thank you so much. And I can just say that AGZA has really found the expo to be quite incredible for networking. We were able to really make a list of interested people in the CARB Z Roadshow trailer program, and we're able to offer people trainings and a lot of things. So I definitely want to recommend that people sign up early. We do have the raise your hand function. If you raised your hand, I can go ahead and unmute you and let you ask a question for either Richard or myself. Okay. Well, that we both must have been quite thorough. Okay, from Vincent Giordano, what about the cost information for TOWA?
Yeah, you can get our cost information off our website. And there's also a inquiry there. If you're interested in products, we can point you to our local distributor or dealer that's in your area. Just go to towatools.com.
And while we're waiting for people to maybe think of a question, just to let everybody know, this has been recorded. We will be uploading it on our YouTube channel, and we will have my section siloed on its own, and then Richard's section on his own. But it will be uploaded, and then you will be sent links. Everyone will be sent links to the recordings. All right, so Richard, did we have a TOWA to give away as a raffle on this one?
Yes, we did.
We did.
Mhm.
Okay, I think Esther is handling who is going to be the lucky recipient of that TOWA PDM. Esther, were you able to announce that?
Sure, we have the lucky one is from Reers Fausto Mock.
Okay, we have Fausto Mock of Re-Earth, and I believe they are a dedicated all-electric company. I'm sure they're going to find the PDM quite useful if they don't have one already. So we just want to thank everybody for your time this afternoon. I really want to again thank my valued colleague, Richard Ogawa of TOWA Tools and Gardenland for coming on and educating us about a lot of the options that exist with TOWA to help us usher this gas to electric transition. And again, everyone will be sent links to today's webinar. And again, thank you very much. And thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Dan, and appreciate everyone's time today. And if we can just make sure we get that winner's information, we will mail that out to you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Esther, you heard it. You're going to get it right over to Richard. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon.
Okay, take care. Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.